Well, hello friends of New Hope. If you're watching this video, that probably means that you were a part of helping New Hope get started about 20 years ago. Over 22 years ago now. When Shannon and I and our family moved to upstate New York, we believe God had called us to start a church called New Hope. And so many of you were a part of that. And may I just say, I hope we've told you this over the years, but if we've never told you this before, thank you so much. We are eternally grateful. There are hundreds, if not thousands of people that have been impacted by this church that are eternally grateful to you for your support, your partnership in so many ways, through prayer, through finances. Many of you literally came on trips to work with us, to help us, soccer clinics, backyard Bible clubs, so many different ways that you were a part of this work. We could never thank you enough. And you continue to tell us that you're praying for us, you're thinking about us. So thank you for your partnership. But we want to give you the opportunity today to think about another step in our relationship together, in our partnership. We want to give you the opportunity to become grandparents. Many of you may have heard that Shannon and I found out recently that we're going to become grandparents very soon. We're so excited about that. We can't wait to see that baby girl. And many of you have told us that, hey, you don't know it, but grandparenting is the best. Well, we're thinking that grandparenting and church planting might be where the really good stuff is. And what do I mean by that? Well, you helped to plant this church. We were a daughter church of yours. But what we're really praying about now is the Lord's given us a vision that He would use us to start 50 churches over the next 20 or 25 years across upstate New York, across the Northeast. And so God's given us a vision to do that. And we're inviting you to consider being a part of that. And the way that we're going to do that is that we're starting a residency, a church planting residency. And so what we'll do is we'll bring a pastor in. He'll train with us for a year or two. Really, the commitment is 2 years of training, 1 year kind of shadowing us, another year developing that church plant field. And then we'll send him out. He's committing to stay at least 5 years to be the church planter for that new church. And so we're starting that. We've actually just begun that process with our first resident. He's going to be going through 2022 and then finishing out his residency in 2023. And then we're looking to start 2 more church planting residencies at the beginning of 2024. And so we want to ask you, you've been so faithful. And you know, what really put this on our heart to share with you is so many of you didn't just help us for a year or two or just even for 5 years, but still to this day, you just seem to have such a connection with New Hope and the work that God is doing in and through us. So we want to give you that opportunity to continue that prayer support. We're trusting the Lord for 1,000 prayer partners. Many of you, before we ever stepped foot in New York, over 1,000 people said that they would pray for us once a week. We believe with all of our hearts that that was absolutely the secret to what God has been able to do and continues to do here. Many of you are still praying for us daily, weekly, monthly. And so thank you for that. We're asking you to consider praying once a week for the next year, 2 years, 3 years for this church planting effort in upstate New York and in the Northeast. We want to ask you to consider financial support. Many of you were so faithful to give in those critical early days when we didn't have the people to support the work, but you were partners. You supported us in that. And as a result of that, now we're self-supporting and we're supporting other works around this region and around the world. So would you consider, we're praying for 20 partners, $100 a month for the next 3 years. And so we're trusting the Lord to provide that, again, so that we can finish out the residency that we're doing right now, but also add 2 more residents starting in 2024. So we're just excited about what the Lord's doing. We knew you would want to hear about that as well. And so if you'd like to be a part of that, you can see there's some tabs here for you to click on to say, hey, I'd like to be a part of the prayer team. I'd like to provide some financial support, or maybe even both. And so we just ask you to pray about those things. Thank you again so much for all that you've done to make this such a special, strong, healthy, to the glory of God, work of the Lord. And so would you pray with us about those next steps? Could it be, as many of you have told us, that having grandchildren is truly the best? Maybe our best days are ahead. We really believe that. I want to invite you to pray about that with us. Thank you so much. God bless you. We'll see you soon.